If you're feeling exhausted all the time, overwhelmed, unfocused, even if you're doing all the right things, there's something deeper going on here. And no, it's not about your discipline, about your motivation, and it's absolutely not something that you have to accept as a norm moving forward. I'm Dr. Julia. I'm a health psychologist with a background in neuropsychology. I talk to so many smart, high-achieving women who come to me because they are so concerned that they just feel like so many things have changed for them. They stop feeling like themselves because they are constantly in a state of being exhausted, overwhelmed, unfocused, and they're really finding that not only is it impacting them in the workplace, but it's also really showing up in their health, in their personal life, and in their relationships. These are women who notoriously have always been able to figure things out for themselves. They're hardworking. They've been go, 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 go. They're high achievers. These are women just like you in so many different roles. They're in sales, they're in tech, they're in real estate, they're in healthcare and lots of different jobs. They're lawyers, and they've always been able to put in effort and get the results that they want. So it becomes very, very concerning for them that despite the fact that they are still working hard, they still are putting in the effort. And actually, a lot of them are trying even harder because they're constantly exhausted. Nothing seems to change. And in fact, things are getting worse over time. A lot of them tell me that I just start my day already dreading day because I didn't sleep well at night and I'm already exhausted. They get to the office, they're hoping to have a productive day, but when they sit down in front of their computer, their mind seems to be all over the place. Either they're just staring blankly, not really accomplishing anything, or instead of focusing on what they need to do, their mind is thinking about the 1,000 things that they haven't done that they have to do. So what ends up happening is they push off their projects, they push off their deadlines, and there's really not much else to do when they're feeling overwhelmed but turn to their phone and doom scroll. It's not because they don't want to do their work. It's not because they're not high achieving anymore, but they just start to get so overwhelmed with everything, and that procrastination turns into doom scrolling. Now they're doom scrolling, and it's like a cloud is just getting heavier and heavier over their head of everything they have to do, which then just causes them to procrastinate more. And so many of them start to wonder, what is going on with me? Am I not a high achiever anymore? Am I just lazy now? Am I not a high performer? Is there actually something wrong with my brain? And they really start to beat themselves up. So what ends up happening is they start to push even harder. They work longer and longer. They sacrifice time, maybe for themselves, with their family, with other relationships. A lot of them end up working until 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m. because they just couldn't seem to focus during the day. And now they're not sleeping well. Or those who can't wait until their head hits the pillow, they find that as soon as they get into bed, instead of having refreshing sleep to set them up for the next day, their mind just goes in autopilot, running a million miles an hour with all the things they haven't done, or just beating themselves up because they just don't understand, why am I feeling this way? No one is giving me answers. And a lot of them have gone to doctors, they've gone to other health practitioners, and they've been told, oh, you just have too much stress on your plate. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you just need to leave your job. Maybe you need to just take on less responsibility. Or they just give them generic advice like, oh, you need to manage your stress. You need to eat better. You need to exercise. Some have even gotten labs and have been told their labs are normal. There's nothing going on here. And as you maybe have experienced, that only causes them just to feel even worse and really start to question, it has to be something internally with me. Now, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case at all. There is something much deeper going on that's really at the root of all of these issues, and that is a nervous system that has been stuck in overdrive for way too long, and it's draining your energy, your cognitive abilities, and really just your happiness and joy. When your system is under constant pressure, that stress is building. You're go, go, go. You are juggling a million and one things. Over time, your nervous system starts to activate to the point where it just almost gets stuck in this overactivated state. And you might be thinking to yourself, but yeah, I've always done this my entire life. I've always pushed through. I've always stayed up late studying. I've always taken that one last call and maybe not gone to sleep. And that may have worked for you at a certain point, but also at a certain point, your nervous system kind of says, like, I have had enough. It's kind of like if you imagine you're driving a car and you're constantly just on the gas. You're not stopping to put new gas in it. You're not stopping to do those maintenance checks or filling it with oil or whatever else has to be done for maintenance, but you're just constantly on the gas pedal. Yeah, The car will work for a certain amount of time, but at a certain point, it's going to start to break down. It's the same thing with the nervous system, is pushing harder, working harder, sacrificing sleep, all these things. It may have been okay at one point, but after a certain amount of time, the nervous system says no more. Or maybe you've just had a buildup of stress. And instead of addressing it, maybe we've just been ignoring it. We've been just pushing through because that's always what we've done. Same kind of thing. The nervous system says, nope, I'm done with this. I am going to make you slow down even if you don't want to. And that comes up in that exhaustion that you feel, that constant overwhelm, even when you're not working or your plate seems to get smaller and your brain just not functioning in the same way. And all of this is incredibly frustrating, especially when you don't know what's going on. And now that you understand a little bit better about what's been going on, that is exactly why resting, taking vacations, taking things off your plate, it doesn't work because it's not addressing what's going on internally in your nervous system. So maybe you've been told, hey, you just need to work less, or you need to just change jobs. It's too stressful. Well, I've seen so many women work less. They've actually changed jobs, maybe even 2 or 3 jobs. The issues follow them though, because this is not an external thing of what's going on out here. It's really going on with internally the nervous system has kind of just had enough and it's just stuck in this overactivated state. Or, people have said, when this project is over, I'll feel better. When this phase of life is over, when my kids are older, whatever it might be, I'm going to feel better. But same kind of thing, those things happen, but they still feel the exact same way. And that is also what causes them to question themselves. And so I really just want to kind of emphasize that this is not about having to give up being a high achiever. It's not about having to give up being a high performer and juggling lots of things all at once. And it's not even really about slowing down externally if you don't want to. You certainly can if you want to, but it's not really about that. It's about internally slowing down. It's about internally resetting and rebalancing your nervous system so you can continue to be the high performer you've always been, but without the exhaustion, the stress, the poor focus, and everything else that's been going on. And that's also why it may have felt like you have tried everything. Maybe you've gone to your doctor, you've gotten the lab results, you've tried changing your diet, you've tried the productivity hacks, maybe even tried therapy or medication. It's not that these things aren't helpful, but in my mind, these are outer circle things that you can only get benefit from when your nervous system is ready to handle it. If your nervous system is kind of fighting you for survival, it's not going to give you the energy to eat balanced meals, to have energy to exercise, to allow these productivity hacks to work. Or maybe you've tried therapy. What a lot of people telling me is that, yeah, it feels good maybe to talk through the things that are going on, but afterwards I still feel the same. And I do want to emphasize this is not for lack of trying. I know you're a go-getter. I know that you've tried to figure this out on your own, and maybe you have even gotten help. But the reason that these things haven't worked is because not only are the outer circle things that don't address the root cause, but a lot of times these things are treating individual symptoms. Oh, eat better for the exhaustion. Oh, productivity hacks for the focus. Oh, this for that. Treating symptoms randomly is not going to be the solution. So that is probably why, you might be thinking, oh, I really feel like I've tried everything. I don't doubt that, but I do want to encourage you that until we have kind of a full holistic system ready to address the internal root cause, a lot of those things, that's the reason that they haven't been working. And there's so much more that can be done. So it's not about treating symptoms. It's not about gathering random pieces of the puzzle. And it's certainly not trying harder, beating yourself up, or even just accepting that this is the way my life is. It does not have to be that way. You absolutely can get back to feeling like you're calm, you're clear, you're productive and happy self when you have a holistic system that addresses the brain, the body, the lifestyle in the correct order in a way that really helps you restore balance in your nervous system so you can feel your best again. If that sounds like you, I'm sharing much more about why this happens in the first place and really what to do about it in an entire free masterclass. It's only 20 minutes, but I think it's going to help you further understand why these things have been going on and what to do about it.